I know I deserve more. I want to be as big as Kevin Hart.
But you are that dude. My thing is,
in terms of talent and ability.
Right, but
my pockets don't show that. God damn, man. I'm not getting my flowers, man.
TigerBelly had its 500th episode, and to celebrate, Bobby Lee invited a few of his old fellow actors from Mad TV, which, as you can imagine, turned into a roller coaster of crazy stories, but also a lot of whining and complaining from Aries Spears, who is very upset that he's not rich and famous. He believes that due to his level of talent, he should be at the same level as Kevin Hart or Dave Chappelle. First, let's hear his backstory leading up to Mad TV.
Yeah, I did Def Jam when I was 16. I did Showtime at the Apollo at 17. Moved out to L.A. Between 17 and 18. I did a guest spot of Warm Up for the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, where Will Smith and a lot of NBC execs saw me. And then from there, word got around town quickly. There's this young hot kid in town. He's phenomenal. I got holding deals for 5 straight years. Every network. I probably made $1 million by the time I was 19, 20, but I hadn't anything to show for it.
And were you happy when you got on that show?
I was indifferent, man, because you know what? I'm going to be honest with you.
Because you didn't seem that happy when I was there.
My dream was Saturday Night Live.
Here we go.
That was my dream, man. I wanted to take the same path as Eddie Murphy, man. 2-3 years on SNL, hit movie, and then the rest is history.
It's cooler. Matt is cooler.
Well, listen, you know, like I said, I said to myself, I was disappointed because in the beginning I was like, I told my manager at the time, man, I feel like I'm doing this work on Mad and nobody's recognizing it. Nobody's saying anything. I'm not getting no love.
Damn, so when he's on Mad TV, no one is recognizing the phenomenal talent of Aries Spears. He knows he deserves better. He's phenomenal. He even has his name on his back, just so you know the name of this young talent. I can't imagine how fun it must have been working with someone who the whole time believes that he should be on a bigger show. Here they briefly talk about imposter syndrome. Now, we already know this, but Aries still points out that imposter syndrome isn't something he's familiar with.
I don't know many actors
who doesn't have it.
Yeah.
I think universally everyone has it.
You don't have it.
Yeah.
I know that about
I know I'm the shit.
Oh, God.
Yeah, well,
You've never had imposter syndrome? You always knew?
Listen, I get in trouble for, listen, I've always had confidence. I've always stepped like I'm the baddest motherfucker in the room.
I think that's great.
But no, because people go, Aries is arrogant, he's cocky.
Yeah.
But I'm an alpha male from New York, and I'm in Aries, and I grew up in the 80s. I built 80s tough. So you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just own it.
Yeah, he's just an alpha male from New York, okay? He's not arrogant or cocky, he just owns it. Also, did you know he's an Aries? Which coincidentally is his name. So we're already seeing that this guy has issues. The biggest being the inflated ego, but without the recognition to pair with it, which explains why he's bitter.
I've been described as bitter, and I hate that word because I just, but I guess maybe that is what it is. Because, I sat back and I went, Jesus, the people that really built the show made it, and now it's like, and no disrespect to them, but Ike Barinholtz, Key and Peele, and I'm like, that show was built by this nucleus. And I'm just like, I don't get it. It's a head scratcher. I don't get it.
So yeah, things didn't pick up for Aries and some of the other cast members like it did with Key and Peele. Bobby has also described how nothing really happened for him after Mad TV. Who knows why that is, right? Besides having talent, Hollywood is a lot of luck and networking. Aries is talented, but it's easy to imagine someone not wanting to work with him. So maybe his attitude slowed his career. Who knows? But the same attitude is still here.
I'm just like, I don't get it. It's a head scratcher. I don't get it.
It shouldn't be that hard to understand that maybe he just didn't resonate on screen as much as Key and Peele did. They got their own show, which was a huge hit, so the network was right to take a chance on them. That should be crystal clear. It's pretty sad to see someone who's 50 still angry and confused about the success of his colleagues from 20 years ago.
Like these young kids say now, I'm going to give you your flowers. I just felt like, God damn, man. I'm not getting my flowers, man.
You have your flower.
Yeah.
Listen to me. Listen to me, Aries. We're the luckiest people on this planet.
We are. When you put it in perspective.
That's what you have
Take
to
a deep breath.
And keep it in perspective. Then put it in perspective and keep it in
perspective.
perspective.
He won't keep it in perspective. Now, I understand if he's been in showbiz since the mid-90s and had such a strong start early in his career, some disappointment should be expected when he's at where he's at. If his career stayed on the same trajectory, he would be at the same level of Kevin Hart or Chappelle or Chris Rock, but unfortunately for Aries, his career peaked early, which is always kind of sad, but at some point you have to look inwards instead of blaming everyone around you and accept that it didn't go the way you planned.
I played the Columbus Funny Bone recently. Were you just there?
Yeah, this weekend.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
That's an A room.
Yeah.
You sold good tickets?
Sold out.
We live better than 99.9% of people.
No one's disagreeing with that. But in your heart at night, when you lay your head down on that pillow and you say to yourself, I know I deserve more.
No, that's what you say.
That's what you said. We don't think that.
So his stand-up is doing well, but he's still whining that he's not more rich and famous. The irony is, Mo Collins, who's sitting right next to him, would kill to be selling out shows.
She's living that truth.
What is missing? What do you want? Because I know you have money. I saw what you rolled up in. I'm driving a Fiat from 2011.
She would love to be making as much money as him. Now, after everyone around the table tries to plead with Aries, like, come on, dude, you gotta let things go and be grateful for the things you've done and where you're at now. But it just doesn't make a dent.
It's just always been my dream since a kid that I want to be that dude. I want to be as big as Kevin Hart.
But you are that dude. My thing is,
in terms of talent and ability.
Right, but
my pockets don't show that. When I go to comedy clubs, and listen, I'm not saying this is me saying this. I'm telling you what people have said to me. And they go, yo, man, you one of the GOATs. Yo, you a legend. And I go in my mind, no, stop. Eddie Murphy's a legend. Richard Pryor is a legend.
Right,
Dave
but then
Chappelle.
you stop. No, and the reason I shut you off is because if they tell you that, listen to what they're saying and accept it.
Well, I do kind of. It's hard for me when I hear that and they go, yo, you top 5, you up there with Cat Williams, Dave Chappelle. And I'm just going,
Yeah.
if my talent is that.
Aries.
Maybe it's not that. He's talented, but maybe, just maybe, he's not top 5. But that thought doesn't make sense to Aries. He's already decided in his mind that he's a top 5 comedian. So everything else around him just isn't adding up. How can a top 5 comic not live in a huge mansion? It doesn't make sense, right? People have said to him, hey, Aries, you're the GOAT. Which is probably what he shouts in the mirror every night. And even though he says, nah, I'm not a legend, deep down he's thinking, well, I kinda am though. According to him, he's just as talented as Kevin Hart and has the same abilities as him, so why he rich with mansion and not me? I know that sounds silly, but I'm paraphrasing his words here. The level of entitlement is approaching delusion. But now we're getting to another aspect of the many problems of Aries Spears. He reveals that he's not a great dad and a bad husband because he cheats on his wife. And if he was able to fix that, then he could be happy, which is what most of us would think, right? But no, because he doesn't have that mansion.
Let's say you said, okay, you want your flowers, you're the GOAT, you dreamt of this mansion your whole life.
Yeah.
If by midnight you move into that mansion of your dreams and you get everything you've ever dreamt about, the money, the bag, the mansion, whatever it is, do you think that you could sit there and be like, okay, I got it, I am fulfilled, I am happy?
I would be happy if I got that plus the things that really matter.
What are the things that really matter?
I'm not a great father to my kids.
Okay, we're
God,
getting
my
somewhere.
heart just exploded.
So I want to tighten up my relationship with my son.
Oof, do that, and maybe the mansion will follow.
And as much as I love the woman who I want to marry for the 3rd time, I cheat. Mm-hmm. I fuck other women.
Yeah.
So I have a problem.
So
with
you have holes in your body that not a mansion or a bag of cash will ever fill.
Whoa, wait. If I'm going to fuck up, let me fuck up with the mansion. But not saying I want to fuck up. I'm just simply saying that exterior shit, that's what I've dreamt about. That's what I want. Now, if I got it tomorrow, that part I could check off the list and go, I got it. But I still would need that other shit to be in place too.
Which one can you control?
Yeah.
Why not both?
You can't control both.
Why not both?
How you won't answer that? Do you see?
Which
Mo,
one can
ask
you-
it again.
Which one can you control?
The surface answer.
Or your relationship.
The surface answer is the relationship.
All right,
Okay.
then.
That's not a surface.
But listen,
that's what's real.
My manager used to say to me, his quote was always, you want to be rich, you want to be right. Because very rarely in this business can you be both. And I don't subscribe to that. I think you can be rich and right.
No.
Is it a harder path? Dave Chappelle is rich and right. He does whatever he wants.
But that's
says
Dave
whatever he
Chappelle.
wants.
Yet another comparison to one of the best comics today. Every time it seems like he's developing some self-awareness, he counteracts it with a comparison to a comic that is much more famous than he is. He has all these personal problems, and the people around him here are trying to tell him, hey, why don't you focus on fixing those personal problems for now? And he's like, nah, I want to be rich as well. Dave Chappelle is. It doesn't make sense. And you can even see the frustration from Bobby Lee, who we all know has an array of personal issues himself. But he's thinking, Jesus Christ, this guy is unreachable. His ego has formed a cocoon around his head. So logic and common sense just cannot make its way in.
What'd you make?
In the beginning,
Yeah.
$4,000 an episode.
Yeah. What'd you end up at? I'm curious. I'm
45.
genuine. I'm actually genuinely
Can I ask
curious.
you a question first?
Yeah.
What'd you end up at?
15.
Great.
What'd you end up at?
20.
Fuck my life.
You ended up at 20?
I ended up at 15. And they
You ended up at 20?
and said, you're done.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Yeah. Even though when I went beyond the contract, they're like,
What did
they're
you
not
end up?
going.
Bobby, what are you doing? What are you doing, Bobby?
You ended up at 15?
Yeah.
Yep.
Me and Michael got 20.
See what I'm talking about?
Michael. Yeah.
Does it burn? My little
Goddamn right it
my,
does.
My little broken creature. Are you sad? Little
I
dumpling?
mean, it's just numbers.
Yeah, they're just numbers.
The phrase, they're just numbers, was the last thing he wanted to hear, which made that moment hilarious. Aries is a talented guy with an ego that simply doesn't match his resume. Hopefully he can learn to be more grateful and content with what he's achieved so far in his career. Personally, I find it hard to feel bad for him when his complaints sound unreasonable. But let me know what you guys think. If you enjoyed this, please hit the like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. I'll catch you guys next time.